this is my first ever returning character request, and what are the chances that it would be one of the turtles for a potential return in Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2? And just as usual, what I like to say, because some people still get it confused, he's not in the game, he hasn't been confirmed, he hasn't been revealed or anything like that. This is my series where I make characters that you guys want to see and are hoping to see in the future for Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2. It's not about their chances of getting in, but just of how I think the character can play and how they would be able to play if they were to get into this game. And just imagine just opening this tab and you see Michaelangelo or maybe one of the returning characters that you always want to see and you were hoping to make a return in this roster. Maybe they can. Characters like Mr. Krabs opened all the doors because he's a character that was in the background of the Bun Wrestling Ring stage, and with him he makes a bigger difference. And the chances of characters being in the background like Lincoln, Lau, Odie, and so much more that can possibly have the chance to get into the game, he makes it possible for even characters like Helga to be able to return. And some people have, different preferences of characters they would like to see make a return. And I was most shocked about how we only have Raphael and Donatello in this roster. There's only two turtles. Two of the four turtles only ended up making it in Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2. And when I first heard about it being a real thing for this game, outside of the leaks and everything and whatnot, I was expecting, and I know everybody out there was expecting it. It's not just me. Everybody out there was expecting to see all four turtles make it into Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 for the sequel, but we only ended up getting a glimpse of Raphael, and the confirmation, we only ended up getting the confirmation of Raphael and Donatello being the only two turtles be able to make it in, and we already got a glimpse of April's new look in the trailer. So that was already 3 of the TMNT characters, and then everybody already assumed, since it was a boss rush, or any bosses being featured in this game, which didn't exist from the first game, Shredder would most likely be one of them, which I wasn't surprised with. But just being honest and open, I just think that this was the most shocking to me, because I thought the Ninja Turtles was so huge to Nickelodeon, and that they wouldn't dare even try to end up only including 2 of the turtles for this game, because they had such a huge influence on some of the characters selected, the character rosters, and specific characters like Grandma Gertie, for example, that they pushed for to get into the game. She's really fun to play, and she's really dangerous if you run into someone that's a really good player that knows what they're doing with Grandma Gertie, and she's a force to be reckoned with. But characters like her, I'm cool with that she actually got into the game, and she's a lot of fun to play. But characters like Leonardo and Mikey belong in this game, and I think just games like Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, the series in general, is the first Nickelodeon game that I played that doesn't have all 4 turtles in the game included as playables. Nickelodeon Kart Racers 1 through 3, all those titles already had all 4 of the turtles. Even in that small roster of the first Kart Racers game, had all 4 turtles playable, which is really crazy when you think about it. So this is all about Mikey, or Michaelangelo, for this request for today, and we're just going to talk all TMNT and share the ideas. You do not have to watch the full video. You can go ahead and head down into the description for all the ideas that I came up for him and how I think he's going to play and more. So if you want to go ahead and exit out and you just want to take a look and share your thoughts about the TMNT, who's your favorite turtle, and which one you would rather see make a return first between Leonardo and Mikey, that's okay too. And whichever turtle is your favorite, maybe your favorite Ninja Turtles memory, or maybe the specific show that you like, because some people have this favoritism towards TMNT from the 2012 version. I haven't seen enough of that to really say that it's one of my favorites, I like 2003. That's my favorite TMNT series from the cartoon series, things like that, and even some of the old classics. But I prefer the 2003 version of TMNT. Nothing against the 2012 version. I need to watch more of the episodes of it. But when you take a look at this roster, there was other characters. I just want to just start talking about it for a little bit. So there were other missing characters, and just you see Lucy Loud coming in by herself. The changes to the roster, and I think really has held a strong impact on the player base. It's all about the roster for most people, and even with the story mode, the crossplay, and the new features and new changes and the mechanics of the slime bar, they're not thinking about that. It's the character rosters and the roster itself that affects the player base, because people want to see these characters make it back and was hoping to see them return. Lucy Law being a solo rep, for example, and then no Arnold, and then no Sandy. This is a game for her. It's Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. It's a fighting game. It's a platform fighter. Sandy is a fighter, and she's one of the strongest characters in the strongest critter in Bikini Bottom. She belongs in this game. But these character changes were really crazy to see, just with the Turtles. So we're just going to start talking about the show for a little bit, and then we'll talk about the backstory, and then we'll get into the ideas for this game and so on and so forth. So if you haven't seen TMNT or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles before, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles features 4 brothers, Leonardo, Donatello. You already can see Raphael and Donatello already in the game. So 2 of the 4 brothers are ready. It features 4 brothers, Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, and Michaelangelo, who fight evil and protect New York City. They were originally born from a radioactive accident and raised and trained by a talking rat by the name of Master Splinter. Master Splinter is one of the characters that's actually in the story. He's not a playable. He would be cool to see as well with all his potential, because he taught the Turtles. He taught the 4 brothers. He taught Leonardo, Mikey, Donatello, and Raphael everything that he knows, and trained these turtles and raised them himself. When you go and start watching this show, and that's how they basically got their abilities. And all four of the brothers have their own unique weapons: the scythes, the staff pole, the pole staff for Donatello, the swords or the katanas, the dual katanas or the swords for Leonardo, and then the nunchucks for Michelangelo. So they all have their unique weapons and fighting style. But the backstory, that's just a little bit about the show. When you start watching, it's really action-packed. They run into all types of different characters and villains. It's the main antagonist is Shredder, that you can really encounter in this game, who was also playable from the first game as well. But things got changed for this game, unfortunately. But it's not just Shredder that they run into. They ended up running into all types of his minions and other antagonist villains in the show that you'll be able to see them encounter, and when you start watching the show. So there's other characters out there that is just, even one of the characters is actually DLC, Rocksteady, that's coming out later this year, solo, which is crazy. Rocksteady himself. But let's start talking about the backstory for Michelangelo for this request. Michelangelo is also known as Mikey, and he is a superhero that and is also one of the 4 main characters of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He's always trying to have fun instead of training, and finds humor in every situation, any situation. He's so much fun to just watch. He's one of my favorite turtles, and if not my all-time favorite of the 4 that I prefer between Leonardo. Outside of Leonardo, Raphael, and Donatello, Michelangelo has always been my favorite. Just because he's goofy, he loves to laugh and have fun, and he doesn't take everything so seriously all the time. So it's just that fun-spirited of the most fun of the group, with a high spirit and good energy, even when they're getting ready to fight. But he can get serious when necessary, and that's what makes him even more dangerous, and which I like about him even more. But that's just a little backstory from Michelangelo and things like that. And now we're going to move on to, and just a little bit about the show as well. Now we're going to move on to the stages. Now, I think this was the most trouble that I had as far as coming up with for this custom request, this character request. I had the most trouble with deciding the stages, because both the Technodrome, Rooftop Rumble, and a new version of Sewer Slam, which was the original stage, which both of these stages, or all three of these stages, were originally in Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, just basically the original first game. All three of these stages existed, but this one got a new look. They all have different new looks. And then even stage variations between both of these two these two stages. There's two different variations of. It's as if they doubled up on the stages when it comes to the Technodrome, and they doubled down on the stages when it comes to the Rooftop Rumble and Technodrome Takedown, because they did something different in regards to the stages called stage variations. So it's the same stage, but it's going to be a flat surface for competitive play and so much more. And this was just a regular full version of the stages themselves. Only these two stages got stage variations, but Sewer Slam was left out. Sewer Slam was also a stage in Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl from the first game, but it looked so different. And they definitely upgraded them with a new and improved look, and it seems a lot bigger in comparison. So I had trouble trying to pick a stage because all three of these stages came right back, but they were just improved. So I went with, I started thinking about Nickelodeon Kart Racers 3 because Turtle Lair was a playable track. So they can bring the Turtle Lair into this game to come out with a Michelangelo DLC update. Not sure if he's going to be paid DLC or maybe he's going to be free. Things like that. We don't know what their plans are going to be if they decide to bring back some of these characters that are missing and that got cut and were changed as far as his roster. So I went with the Turtle Lair. So I thought the Turtle Lair could be upgraded and taken from Kart Racers 3 basically, and have water in the background, and then Master Splinter could be spotted in the background of the stage, because when you play Sewer Slam and in any of these stages, even Rooftop Rumble, especially Sewer Slam, you can't see Master Splinter, but it'll be cool to have the Turtle Lair get represented in a way, and they can just make it a little bit different, go a little bit deeper into their home, the TMNT hideout, and just call it the Turtle Lair, and then have Master Splinter in the background. And just as I was saying earlier, Mr. Krabs was in the background. Master Splinter can eventually end up coming out later as a playable DLC, down the road, so that won't really just ruin his chances, because he has the ability to fight too. But that's the only stage that I can end up coming up with as far as this. Maybe someone else has some ideas for stages, but just considering the fact that all three of these stages were brought back over, new and improved, bigger and better, much bigger than they were before. And then these two just again had stage variations, which I'm about to get ready to show y'all right now. See, it's right here with the three platforms. See the Technodrome, and then you slide over. See, it's the same one, of course. But once you move on over to the flat surface, see, you see Rooftop Rumble, and you see Technodrome Takedown. So you got those. See, it's not without the platform, it's just flat surface for competitive play. Rooftop Rumble is different too. See the stage variations? That's what they did differently with those two. Sewer Slam was left out, and they never came out with another stage variation for it. Maybe they might have that in the cards for a new update. We don't know. But it just doesn't seem like they're going to do anything additional for updates for Sewer Slam, at least for that case. But that's the stages. Now we're going to start talking about the costumes. And I think Michelangelo is going to have some similar costumes with a similar, some similarities when it comes to Raphael and Donatello. And just to start, let's just start with this one. Michelangelo is going to have his Eastman costume, similar to how Donatello already has theirs, and they have theirs in the game. So Michelangelo is definitely going to get the same treatment when it comes to the costumes. So this was very easy for me to really put together. And then of course the mind control scans for Vlad Plasmius and the Ghost Clone and more. So I wanted to start with the Eastman Laird Michelangelo. So since they both, Donatello and Raphael, got them already, as you can see on the screen, I know they're gonna follow suit with the same thing for Eastman design for Michelangelo. Now, one of my favorites, the Rock'n Rollin Turtles. So Michelangelo is gonna have his Rock'n Rollin Turtles costume as well, because we got the heavy metal Raphael, and then this one you got the punker Donatello. Now for Michelangelo, for his Rock'n Rollin Turtles costume, he's gonna have the Rappin Mike, rip-rappin Mike, Rappin Mike to rip-rappin to the he's gonna be rip-rappin to the rescue. So this is from the action figure Playmates Toys from 1991, and it features the Ninja Turtles as pop and rock musicians. So they're definitely going to do the same thing for Leonardo and Mikey if they were to, either one of these characters got in. Either one of the additional turtles or the other two missing turtles per se will get in. You got punker Donatello, and you got the heavy metal Raphael. So Mikey's gonna get his Rappin Mike, or his Rock'n Rollin Turtles Rappin Mike costume for sure picked. And then the other skin, see this one, got this one. It's the Playmates Toys action figure costume design, and both Raphael and Donatello also have theirs in this game, like this one. It's the action figure design. Here it is. It's just the classic. So those are the 3 additional costumes he's going to have outside of his mind control skins, of course, from the story. If they let him be playable in the story, unless they decide to go a different route. But see what I'm saying? They're going to definitely have the same, he's going to have the same treatment in regards to the costumes to match up with Raphael and Donatello that's in the game. The Rock'n Rollin Turtles, the Eastman costume, and then the Playmates Toys action figure costume design. Basically, for his costumes or his alternate costumes, that's what it's going to be. So now it's time for the taunts and animations. I came up with story campaign quotes and more, and also did some research from playing the first game. I went back to the first game, and I even played, TMNT Shredder's Revenge, that I really enjoyed and still play to this day. Even from the first game, I go back to, from time to time for fun, for throwbacks. I came up with some story campaign quotes and more in the mix of what he could also say, and from what he says in Kart Racers 3 could also carry over into this game as well. And just one of them that I wanted to mention, which I think he'll probably say as one of his entrance quotes, but he could say it a part of the story campaign quotes as well. I'd rather be eating pizza. And then the other one, wise men say forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for late pizza. Just how he says it. And then one of my favorites, he was like, just from some quotes, he can say, we're lean, we're green, and we are me. It's one of my favorites. And then wicked. It's just one of my favorite quotes in this game. So he could definitely be saying that either on the battlefield or just maybe when you encounter him, and maybe while you're fighting him, some quotes that they could put in. But I could definitely visualize and see him saying, I'd rather be eating pizza, as some kind of encounter quote, or he could possibly say that for his entrance before the battle begins. Now, some taunts that I want to mention that I came up with. Pizza time, I took this from the first game, but I wanted to do a little bit more with it, because in the first game in Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, he takes a bite and eats a slice of pizza. So for me, for what I came up with for his pizza time taunt, Michelangelo would rather be eating pizza. He would rather eat pizza than fight. So they can make an eating animation with a slice of pizza, similar to what they did from the first game, but they can make it a little bit better so you can see him chewing the pizza. An eating animation, because it's just so quick and easy. He holds the slice, and when you look at the taunt from the first game, if you guys remember, he'll just hold the slice of pizza and just, and then it just disappears. It goes away, and that's it. So they can it can be an upgraded version of that with an actual eating animation. With the pizza, you see the cheese like go everywhere a little bit, sort of, kind of. A little speck of cheese for the pizza that he eats. And then something that I pulled from TMNT, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, a party dude sort of taunt. He's a party dude. Just when he starts playing, he does the chicken dance. So that could be one of his additional taunts that they can add in this game. That'll be really cool. And you can hold the button down and have him keep on dancing. That'll be really cool. Because remember those old original taunts where, from the first game, they did additional bonus taunts. Certain characters got them, but not all of them. The party dude with the chicken dance that Michelangelo does in Shredder's Revenge could be carried over into this game, and you can keep him dancing when you hold the taunt button. That'll be really cool to see. So those are the taunts I came up with. Now some additional animations, a winning and losing animation that I came up with for Michelangelo. For his winning animation, Michelangelo can skateboard across the screen and jump off of it, and then throw a full box of pizza towards the screen, and then mushrooms and all the different pizza ingredients can slide down slowly off the TV screen. That'll be pretty cool to see. So it almost sounds something similar to the first game, but it's a better version of it. So that's something that the developers can probably end up doing. And none of these guys have like that kind of screen animation when they win. You know, El Tigre with that flashing with all the lights and things like that. And then when Azula gets on the screen with her face and striking the pose, she has that fiery background. But they don't have that kind of animation where with a screen effect that can cause the screen to move a little bit. You can see the animation. So you can just throw a full box of pizza at the screen, and you can see the ingredients slide down slowly, you know, as you continue to keep it on the screen. It'll be something unique. Yeah, Mr. Crouch plays his guitar, but they could do so much more with Michelangelo's winning animation. So it'll be so much better than what he does in the first game. A losing animation, Michelangelo will be shell shocked and having his head spinning in circles, constantly seeing stars with his nunchucks on the ground. So I think that'll be a really cool losing animation I can visually see. So he'll be completely shell shocked for his losing animation, seeing stars, seeing nothing but stars. But now it's time for the moveset. And before I even get started and trying to mention anything that I came up with, I wanted to make him a little bit different. I don't want to just copy every single move that they did. And the character I want to just bring up is Lucy Lau in particular before I start sharing the moveset that I came up with. Lucy, I'm going to just say this. I went back to the first game, just like I mentioned before. I went back to playing the first game a little bit, playing around as Michelangelo in the training mode, and I took a look at his moveset, which I'm glad that they also implemented. You can go to the extras tab when you play the first game and boot up the first game. You can go to the extras tab and you can take a look and go through the moveset for each individual character in the first Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. I did that for Mikey and wanted to see what chances, what moves that he had, and just not make him so similar and just do a copy paste moveset. I'll just bring the same moves in and then just settle with that and just come out with fluff. I don't want to just do that for this request. I wanted to put some effort into it and really make him dangerous and upgrade him. And one character in particular that made it back in this game successfully is Lucy Lau solo. So Lucy Lau, I went to take a look at her moveset, and I played as her quite a few times in this game. I don't just play as one character. I like using all the different variety of characters to see what they do and getting to know each individual character in this roster instead of just sticking to one or two. I went to look at Lucy Lau's moveset. So one thing that I found out from just looking and just comparing the two, Lucy Lau was able to keep most of her moves besides her roundhouse kicks, her ghost float ability, and then everything else carried over but got upgraded. But they did different variations and gave her how she goes, her different transformations or different modes, I'll say. For her playstyle, she has the ghost mode, she has the vampire mode, and then her regular self. The regular Lucy Lau with certain moves that are around that, and that's triggered, and she has more moves and more abilities, and on top of that, status elements where she can poison you, and then she gets a power boost or an attack power boost or a buff to her attacks. it shows like a little bit of an angry face, or someone's like enraged. I forgot the name of the status effect, or the stat bonus for her attacks. When her attacks are strong, and then she has the ability to be able to poison you, she bites you, and she does certain moves and things like that. So that's something that's different from her moves, but they only took out a select few of her moves. Everything else got upgraded, and her modes that she goes into and that she can switch from at any given moment got different. It's almost like she got like a makeover and just some upgrades for her modes. But the only thing that they took out from Lucy Liu was her roundhouse kicks and that ghost flow, but everything else carried over. Even with her coughing attack, with her down special, I think it is, or her down strong, things like that. It just depends on your button endpoints, the puts that you put in for your control scheme. She has her coughing move and all that stuff carried over, things like that. So that's something I wanted to point out and, you know, do the research on and just go back before even trying to make a move set for Michelangelo. So I kept only a couple moves, maybe like 2 of them, I'll say. But I'll just get into it right now for his moveset. So I wanted to just point that out because it took some time because I wanted to go back to the first game to really be able to see what I can do extra for Michelangelo and remove some of his moves and give him some things that he has from Shredder's Revenge in the mix, and then come up with my own unique ideas of what I think he can do on the field. So let's start with his moveset now. So the first move I selected, a wicked nunchuck combo. Michelangelo strikes the enemy with a 3-hit combo with his nunchucks. It's pretty cool for just this little basic 3-hit combo just to start it off. But I didn't want to stop there. His next move, Cowabunga. Or he's like, Cowabunga! He says. So that's the name of this move. But I did something a little bit different. I gave Michelangelo a meter. Raphael and Donatello doesn't have a meter. They do not have a meter of their own in this game. So I wanted to spice it up. And I gave Michelangelo what I like to call a party meter mechanic. Some of these characters have a meter, Ember, and so much more. Mr. Krabs and Ren and Stimpy, Reptar, and so much more. They have meters of their own. So I gave Michelangelo a party meter. Since he's a party dude, he loves to party and have fun. Mikey always loves to party. So I thought this would be perfect for him. So this meter will build while he's in battle and also within each successful hit. When the gauge is full, Michelangelo gains increased movement speed and is able to triple jump for a limited amount of time. So he won't necessarily need to use his recovery. He'll be able to jump 3 times when his party meter is full. So those are the only bonuses that I gave for his party meter. So they'll give him some increased movement speed. So he'll be hard to keep up with. And it's almost as if he'll be like Garfield with his speed, with his sugar rush when he activates it. So I wanted to do something like that. And be different because Raphael and Donatello do not have a meter. So I wanted to give Michelangelo his own little specialty. So the next move, bicycle kicks. Anybody remember the bicycle kicks that you can do in Shredder's Revenge? How cool would this be? This move doesn't even exist in the first game. So bicycle kicks with Michelangelo, he begins floating in midair and can attack with a series of kicks that can drag the enemy across the stage. And something I wanted to do that the developers can do a little to make it a little bit juicier, I'll say, you can press the attack button repeatedly to unleash as many kicks as possible. You can't do that with none of these characters in this game. You just press a button and they just move, and you press a button a few times and then the combo is over. But I wanted to have the player get a little bit active in regards to this move. So, the faster you are, you could just, mash. I'm just pressing the square button right now, so because I know it doesn't press anything. Or it doesn't trigger anything, I'll say. From the menu here. You could just press it fast like that. The quicker you are, you're going to be able to get a significant amount of damage with his bicycle kicks. And I think this is going to be one of the most dangerous moves that he has. Just to pick up the pace and change it up a little bit for his moves. And if you haven't seen his bicycle kicks, it's one of his running specials in Shredder's Revenge. When you use one of his ultimates, you run at the enemy and he can use his bicycle kicks. Pretty deadly, and just for his moves, his bicycle kicks, and you can open up the doors for more combos. Just like this one, for example, for a projectile attack. So I brought the pizza back for his move, for some projectiles and things like that. Let's put on Raphael for this game. I brought the pizza back, and this one was called "Make Mine Double." It was one of his quotes that he said from the first game, so it helped me come up with a name for this projectile attack. So remember how Mikey could throw a full pizza at you, and then when it hits you in Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl from the first game, it'll turn into a slice of pizza, and you have a chance to throw it back, but you have to grab that slice of pizza in time. Otherwise it'll just disappear, and you have to just throw another one. But with Make Mine a Double, a projectile attack from Michelangelo, Mikey's gonna throw 2 slices of pizza, one after another, across the field. So I turned it down to slices. I turned it into 2 slices, double the slice of pizza. When he throws it, it's like 1, 2, he could throw it like that in a series of throws for 2 different slices of pizza across the field. So I wanted to change the variation of the full pizza and turn it into slices for his own projectile attack. And then his next move is called Party Dude. So Mikey shows off his dance moves and he'll spin on his shell and launch enemies into the air while moving across the stage. This was an old original move that I decided to bring back in for his move set for this game if he was to ever return. So I took this from the first game, but instead I decided to just bring it back in for this moveset instead of just removing it. So his Party Dude, he'll be able to still dance on his shell and be able to hit you several times, and he can juggle you in the air while he's able to move quickly across the stage, with his little spinning Party Dude move. Now, I wanted to utilize more with his nunchucks, and the one thing that came to mind was El Tigre. See how he can grab you with his claw, and when he grabs you across, he can, it has its limited distance, but I wanted to make it better than El Tigre's with a much larger, a longer and much bigger distance, of where Michelangelo will be able to grab you with his nunchuck grappling hook. So Michelangelo can be able to use his nunchucks to pull any enemy in front towards him. So I took this from El Tigre's claw I forgot the name I don't know the actual name of the move for what they titled it for his moveset, but I know some of you guys who play him will probably know what I mean. When he uses his claw and he'll grab you, and then he'll kick you into the air as soon as he grabs you right away. He'll grab you and knock you in the air with his claw. So I wanted to do something like that with Michelangelo and give him a bigger range, so he'll be able to pull you towards him. And then for his recovery move, I call this the helicopter glide. I don't want to just do the same thing with Grandma Gertie having a grappling hook, and then Mr. Krabs with his fishing rod being able to save himself. Because Michelangelo's recovery is basically what Grandma Gertie has with a grappling hook, but without the nunchucks. So I wanted to change that. I didn't want to make that the same. So the helicopter glide for Michelangelo, Michelangelo swings a nunchuck above himself and is able to glide across the screen to help break his fall. And with this recovery, you're going to be able to recover. You'll be able to move how you want to and mainly control where you want to go. So I wanted to definitely change that grappling hook. His grappling hook, his nunchuck can just be used as a grappling hook all over again, which already existed in the first game. I wanted to give him something new for a change. And last but not least, the super or the ultimate attack. Some of y'all still call it Final Smash, but this is the super attack. For his super or his ultimate attack, it's called Let's Kick Some Shell. Let's kick some shell. Just like they say, just a little iconic quote that they can use. And he can say this when he triggers it. So I was trying to make this as cool as possible. because I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do with him for his ultimate for this final move. Michelangelo can ride his skateboard to attack upon contact with manual control, and I was thinking about how Gerald has his skateboard. He'll run into you and be able to knock into you, but you have to press the button. But if Michelangelo touches you with his skateboard, you're going to get hit anyway. So he's not just going to be skating around on his skateboard with full control and being able to control where you want to go. Michelangelo is going to also be able to throw full sizes of pizza when prompt, and then he's going to be able to swing his nunchucks for massive damage, and he becomes invincible until the slime meter is gone. And another little bonus that I wanted to add to it, Mikey's party meter, remember Mikey's party meter? His party meter is automatically going to be filled halfway immediately after the super expires. So you're still going to be able to get closer to getting that movement speed, those bonuses with his movement speed, and being able to triple jump. You know what I mean? So he'll be able to get, Air Mikey. He'll be able to basically become Air Mikey quicker. Maybe I'll change the name of that, but I could call it Air Mikey. He becomes Air Mikey, be able to jump several more times with with a triple jump, things like that. But I think that'll be beneficial. I couldn't come up with anything else as far as his awesome. Maybe somebody else might have a different idea for what kind of super he would have, but maybe he could go crazy with his nunchucks. You see how Raphael, he uses his and he just slices you up so fast and goes wild with his size with a series of combos. I don't want to do it like that, but just like I said from last time for some of these other characters that I've done, but this is the first returning character anyway that I worked on for this character request. None of these characters have manual control when you activate their super. Once you use the super, it's all done. So I think that's something that they can do for some of these returning characters to make them playable and have manual control of where you want to go and who you want to attack and go after. And if you're in a 4-player free-for-all, you can just be able to hit everybody, rack up those KOs. If it's a timer match or a time match, or if it's a stock match, you could take a significant amount of stocks away to really make that comeback that you need. But none of these characters have like a super where you take manual control. You just use it, and if you hit, whether you hit or miss, it's just done. So I think they can really make it a little bit different by adding that for these bonus characters, for these future characters that they end up adding after the season 1 is done and concludes. From Zuko, Iroh, and Rocksteady, they can do that for these future characters to make them playable and have manual control when you use the ultimate ability or the super, and make that slime mechanic or that slime meter just drain over time. So I think that'll be something that'll be perfect for his ultimate, just to make it fit him. Because I noticed I didn't give him any sort of moves with his skateboard. I wanted to utilize that for his ultimate or his super attack, in other terms, in this case. Well, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think he's gonna return? Would you rather have Leonardo return? I know some people been wanting Lincoln Loud to come back and others, but it's not about just Lincoln Loud and all the others. I want all the characters to come back and make a return. And just something I want to share before closing this out, I feel like before this game ever came out, before it even existed, they could have had everybody make it back in from the first game. You didn't need any character cuts. We could have had everybody make it back in, and then you build on for new characters that you want to add on to the game that didn't exist. You get everybody in, then you add Squidward, Plankton, LT Gray, Jimmy Neutron, who should have been in the first game, who makes it in. He should have been in the game with Hugh Neutron, so we could do the Jimmy versus Hugh showdown for the fun, just for the laughs and things like that. Lucy Loud and Lincoln Loud making it back. Plus, you add in another Loud House rep, the Angry Beavers making their debut into this counter game for the series. Azula, and then Toph is missing. Things like that, and with all 4 of the turtles, which is what it's about. We could have had all 4 of the turtles, if anything. Even with the character changes, I thought all 4 turtles were going to be guaranteed to get in, and I was just going to do this free-for-all. I'm going to have to find out who's the best turtle of them all, and with a showdown, have the CPU battles and requests, 2v2s, Leonardo and Raphael against Donatello and Mikey, and mix it up, handicap matches, it was going to be a lot of fun, but we can't do that right now because we only have Raphael and Donatello as the two turtles. I do like the roster for what it is, and all the characters are a lot of fun to play. Everybody's different with different play styles, and everybody has different preferences. But I really hope that they can bring back Michelangelo and all the other characters that's missing in this game. And with something that I want to put a point across, whoever they bring into this game for the next wave, if they decide to go that route, if they have some changes and eating future characters by surprise for patches, we need to have the characters contain stages. So they not just coming out and you just get the character in the costumes and there's no stages. We can get more stages so we can have more to play and more to play on for updates and more for this game. And we can beef up these modes and we can have more news that can come up on the screen and things like that. And I can definitely picture returning characters. They're back, you know what I mean? Just for the advertising. They're back, and you play as, you know, Link and Lao and Leonardo, Mikey and all the other characters. Maybe they can even, if they can just try to move them into a specific mode in the extras or something like that. Give them a different mode where you can play as them exclusively. If they're not going to really be fully playable in a roster, they could do so much more with the characters to have them at least return to be included, to give them the roles that they desire. So I'm hoping that they do bring back some of these characters. I'm just going to be honest, we're probably not going to get everybody back, but they'll probably end up going for a select few, like Link and Lao, who's in the background, Helga, and so much more. Powder Toast Man got his model done, Hugh Neutron, but they're in a story. Unless they give him an additional role, because Mr. Krabs is in the background from the wrestling bun. Let's bring it up real quick. You see him at the bottom. You can see him at the top a little bit too. He's just super small, but you see him right there. He came out from the background, so all those other characters can make their return. He opened the doors he opened the possibility and the chances to make them greater. The probability of these characters coming back goes up. That's in the background. Link and Lao and more. I don't even have to keep going on and on. The probability goes up, so they can get more of these characters into the game. We're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. But I just hope that we can get some new additional stages alongside of these characters or whoever else they choose to add. I really hope that we get the Turtles back. They deserve to be in this game, and many other characters and other shows that are still unrepresented. But let me know what you guys think of this idea. And just real quick, if you have a request or returning character request, you can post up in the comments or let me know, and then I'll be able to put those characters together as well. And even if you don't want to see a returning character, any other personal favorite characters that you would like to see a moveset for, you can post it up in the comments now. But I hope you guys have fun watching this. I have fun working on this, and this was my first returning characters request that I put together, and I'm definitely willing to do Link and Lao and many other moveset reworks for those other characters that's missing.